Imagine a daring heist, inspired by Sherlock Holmes, a photographer turned mastermind, an underground tunnel, and a vault full of secrets. This is the jaw-dropping story of the infamous Baker Street Bank burglary that shook London in 1970. Stay tuned for the incredible twists and turns.
In 1970, inspired by a Sherlock Holmes story, 38-year-old photographer Anthony Gavin from North London meticulously planned a daring heist. His target, Lloyds Bank at 187 Baker Street, Marylebone, London. Gavin, a former Army physical training instructor with a forceful personality, wasn't new to crime. According to reports, he even had connections to career criminals. This is the story of how a seemingly ordinary man attempted an extraordinary crime. The year was 1970. Anthony Gavin, a 38-year-old photographer from North London, was cooking up a plan. Inspired by a Sherlock Holmes story, Gavin, a former army man with a forceful personality and rumored connections to criminals, set his sights on a daring heist, Lloyds Bank at 187 Baker Street. Gavin wasn't one to rush. He recruited accomplices carefully. One was Red Tucker, a clean-cut second-hand car salesman with no criminal record. Tucker pretended to be a new customer to open a bank account in December 1970. Over the next few months, he made 13 visits to his safety deposit box, each visit an opportunity. Tucker was by himself in a big, safe room. He didn't have a tape measure, so he used his umbrella and how wide his arms are, stretched out to carefully measure how long and wide the room is. The bank's trusting practices, leaving customers unattended in the vault, played perfectly into his hands. The floor tiles were all the same size and in neat rows. He used them to draw a simple map of the room, showing where the furniture was. This wasn't an amateur operation. Another salesman, Thomas Stevens, also with a clean record, was tasked with procuring the tools: a thermal lance for cutting through metal and a massive 100-ton jack for breaking things open. The crew even had a lookout man, Bobby Mills, a friend of Brian Reeder, a notorious criminal who some reports claim was also involved in the plan, although he vehemently denied it. But Gavin wasn't stopping there. An explosives expert and Mickey Skinny Gervais, a burglar alarm specialist, were also brought on board. Two more unidentified men joined the team, Little Legs and TH. Rumors swirled around TH, said to be a contact of a corrupt detective inspector with a long history of shady dealings. The stage was set, the crew assembled. All they needed was a perfect entry point. In May 1971, the owners of a leather goods shop, conveniently located just 2 doors down from the bank, were selling the lease. Gavin's associates snatched up the opportunity. This seemingly ordinary shop, soon to be in their control, held the key to the bank's vault, a basement that, according to their calculations, lined up perfectly with the bank's underground treasure chamber. The pieces were falling into place. The Baker Street heist was about to begin. Thieves took advantage of nearby construction to disable vault alarms and dig a tunnel into a bank. They dug on weekends to avoid noise and hauled away debris to hide their work. The robbers tried to break into the vault with a jack and explosives, but they hit an old well instead. They eventually blasted a hole in the vault floor with dynamite. The gang began their entry into the vault on Friday, 10th September, after the bank closed for the weekend. At around 11 p.m. on the Saturday, 11th of September, the careful plan fell apart because of an amateur radio enthusiast named Robert Rowlands, who lived in a flat in Wimpole Street, half a mile, 800 meters away from the Lloyds branch. He picked up the walkie-talkie conversations of the gang. At 11:30 p.m., he phoned the police. The local police officer thought it was a prank call and told Rowlands that he should record the conversation if anything interesting was overheard. Rowlands thought it was a good idea, so he used a small cassette recorder to make a record of the conversations. At around midnight, he recorded dialogue between the gang inside the shop and the nearby lookout about their need to take a break.
Right. Well, listen carefully. We want you to mind for 1 hour from now until approximately 1 o'clock, and then to go off the air, get some sleep, and come on the air with both radios at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I suggest we carry on tonight, mate, and get it done with.
Look, the place is filled with fumes where we was cutting, And if the security come in and smell the fumes, we're all going to take stuppo, and none of us have got nothing. Whereas this way, we have all got 300 grand to cut up when we come back in the morning. And if security have nosed it for us, well, at least we've got something.
Money may be your god, but it's not mine, and I'm fucking off.
Eventually, after input from a woman's voice, the lookout agreed to remain on the roof overnight. The lookout man was also given an update on the progress they had made in opening the safety deposit boxes.
We have done 90% of the easy ones, and we now face the hard ones.
As the gang communicated their progress via walkie-talkie, Rowlands this time called Scotland Yard directly instead of contacting his local police station. Scotland Yard dispatched the Flying Squad, a specialized unit known for their swift response. They arrived at Rowlands' location and listened intently to the recorded conversations, confirming a burglary was happening. The officers remained with Rowlands throughout the night, piecing together the robbers' plan. Meanwhile, inside the bank vault, the tension likely heightened as the night wore on. Around 8:30 a.m. on Sunday, September 12th, the gang re-emerged in the shop and communicated with their lookout. They expressed their gratitude to the lookout for staying on guard and revealed their plan to wrap up the heist by early afternoon. Adding another layer to the drama, a waiter from a nearby restaurant became unwittingly involved. Drawn by strange noises coming from the bank, he peered through the windows but couldn't see any activity. Shortly after, Rowlands and the officers picked up on a final radio message, believed to be a code for the gang leaving the bank. The police came into action. They contacted bank staff and security firms, launching a coordinated effort to check over 750 banks within an 8-mile radius. Each branch was meticulously inspected by both bank personnel and police officers. The team reached the Baker Street branch of Lloyds at 3:30 p.m. on September 12th. However, they were met with a locked vault. Due to a time lock mechanism, they were unable to access the vault to confirm the situation inside. Whether the gang was still inside the vault hiding or had already escaped remained a mystery. The robbers had targeted 268 safety deposit boxes, representing roughly a quarter of the total boxes. Interestingly, they bypassed the bank's main safe, leaving its contents untouched. Estimates of the stolen valuables ranged widely, from £150,000 to a staggering £4 million. This elaborate heist, forever known as the walkie-talkie job due to the robbers' communication method, exposed a security lapse and sent shockwaves through London. Despite its notoriety, the crime is legally classified as a burglary, not a robbery, as it lacked the element of force or threat. Investigation. Police imposed a news blackout initially to prevent the burglars from learning their communication was intercepted. Upon entering the vault, the staff confirmed the burglary. Police recovered tools left behind by the robbers. With information from the bank and witness accounts, the investigation identified several suspects, including Anthony Gavin, Benjamin Wolfe, Red Tucker, and Thomas Stevens. The investigation also yielded some stolen money, but not nearly the full amount. Abdullah Hassan Gangji and his nephew, Akbar Muhammad Ali Gangji. The two were arrested, and £32,000 of notes were seized. Interestingly, no charges were pressed against Robert Rowlands, who illegally listened to private radio channel and alerted the police, but he was rewarded by the bank for his crucial role. Court case. The 4 gang members and the 2 Gangjis were put on trial in January 1973. Stevens, Tucker, and Gavin pleaded guilty to breaking into the bank and stealing the contents of the security boxes. Wolfe and the 2 Gangjis pleaded not guilty. Stevens, Tucker, and Gavin were each sentenced to 12 years in prison. Wolfe received a shorter sentence of 8 years because his age was above 60. Lloyds. In 1977, 138 safety deposit box holders sued Lloyds Bank for £660,000 in damages. The lawsuit alleged that the bank failed to properly secure the safety deposit boxes. Witnesses testified about recovered items being poorly secured and easy to steal. The judge adjourned the case after a 4-day trial without explanation. Why Gangjis pleaded not guilty, even though police recovered £32,000 of notes from the possession of Abdullah Hassan Gangji and his nephew, Akbar Muhammad Ali Gangji. October 1971, police surveillance teams saw Tucker hand over a bag to two men, Abdullah Hashan Gangji and his nephew Akbar Muhammad Ali Gangji. The two were arrested and 32,000 pounds of notes were seized. The two Gangjis were remanded in custody until 16th of November, when bail was set at 75,000 pounds. The trial of the four gang members and the two Gangjis opened on the 2nd of January 1973. The two Gangjis pleaded not guilty. The two Gangjis stated that they were acting as couriers for a Swiss-based finance house involved in purchasing sterling. After this whole episode, there were rumors in town. First rumor was a D notice was issued to suppress news of the burglary. Second rumor was safety deposit box contained compromising photos of Princess Margaret. And the third rumor was photos of child abuse involving a cabinet minister were found. What do you think about these rumors? Are they true? Let us know in the comment section. And if you liked our video, then make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can get more content like this.